สวัสดีครับ Before I share my experience with you, I'd like to tell you a little bit about how I start and where I come from. When I was young, I learned Muay Thai, a Muay Thai school not far from my house, and I very dedicated. I was love every minute of it, but I become bored to death. I was so bored because same again, on and on and on and on. And nobody care much. And they just want you to just get in the ring. They don't give me much information and all that kind of thing. It's make me really mad in that time. That is one of experience that I don't want to do to my student. Then I found a Taekwondo school who's the master Korean, but have the guy who teaching in there called Mr. Seri. He one of the great Muay Thai fighter, and he also in Taekwondo. I love it. I love his style. I love everything he does. My eyes glued to him, and I joy that day. And I love it because the Taekwondo in that time is really not far from a Muay Thai or Muay Thai Boran. Anyway, the Taekwondo give me quite a lot of experience in management, how to teach step by step, how to look after people, how to grading your people. Everything become in me until I got a chance to go to England. All the experience of the fighting in Thailand is helping me for confidence to be able to teach. By the way, my master passed away, and in that time is nobody look after the school, so I have to be one of the instructor in there for 2 years. In 2 years' time, I'm struggling and try to teach and try to help people and everything. So I turned from the Taekwondo to become more Muay Thai. That is another experience I had because no one teach me how to teach. Then I went to England, and of course, in England in that time, it's no Muay Thai. I have to figure out that how to build a Muay Thai. I struggling. I have to find every way to how to learn business and do Muay Thai. That's why I have a lot of failing experience to tell you. I used to teach people to be tough and have the sign in front of the gym that if you don't tough, don't join me. Wow. So, and all my people, I train them to be fighter. And my business wasn't that good. But because of the new thing and look great because no one else does it. So we become bigger and bigger and bigger. But my school full of fighter. I love fighter. We have so many champions in WKA or whatever. Right? But it doesn't give me much in the financial. This is a very experience to give to you because my gym is full of fighter. My eye is always with the fighter at all the time and always interesting on the people who talented become a great fighter and I interesting. That's why in business it's not so good at all. Somewhere, somehow, I did it. I become more success and more experience in teaching after nearly 20 years in England. I think I want to go bigger. That's why I come across to America and I pick Las Vegas because I want to be promoter. And again, I start teaching Muay Thai in America, Las Vegas. It's not easy at all because I too tough, I too strong. My kicking back is hard. I put half sand in it with a sawdust. My back is all rock and all that kind of thing. We're clinching very hard. Nobody can move the neck. And then I start to go to different gym and see why the guy who's only like over 20 years old and very successful, he have 200-300 people, and I have like 70 people. I thought that's fantastic. But when I see people, I know right away. First, I said they're wrong. They're young. What experience they're going to teach? How they're going to take care of a student? I always thought that. In the end, I bow to them because they know how, and they know how to make better business. So I start joining something like we call EFC, collection money and all that, and they have instructor advise certain thing at all the time, how to take care of the business, fighter, grading, award, all that kind of thing. I became bigger, more student, and more student. That's why this is my story, why I become, I don't want to say I'm famous instructor, but I become successful. I become successful in teaching structure, system, because I done so many fail. That's why I don't want you to do it. I don't want you to do it. I have do and don't do. In Muay Thai, sample. You learn them how to roundhouse kick, and they're not that good yet. Their balance not that good yet. So when you kick, they learn how to grab hold of the leg and sweep underneath, and the people slam on the floor, and all the different technique. Because Muay Thai is a hurting technique if you're not careful. So I have do and don't do. That's why I make good system. Now I'm going to be 70 years old soon. So the experience, nearly 50 years of me teaching in Muay Thai, have enough experience to share with you, to make you successful. Do and don't do. And I guarantee you, if you follow my step, you will be successful school in Muay Thai. Don't do what everybody. One thing, not being disrespect to my own people. Because in our country, we train people to become a fighter and earn the living from the purse of the fighter. So you got to train them hard. You got to train them real fight to go in the ring and earn the living. But in other country, it's a sport. That's why you got to separate. It's you want to do for living or you want to do for fighting. What I mean is, if you so much fighter in your school, you understand. And if you do properly, and then you can separate fighter and other, you will be more successful. That's why, believe me, I will give all the advice for you to be successful and don't do what I did before. ครับ